Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Apologist. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the greatest movies in our opinion, and there's going to be four different categories. I'm going to cover horror movies and action, and then Unfair is going to cover sci-fi and comedy. And we're going to take two movies from each and talk about them and give our thoughts and what makes them shine and like what kind of defines an action movie and what makes a good comedy movie like great. um and yeah, so I'm your host for today, Jester SOC, joined with Unfair Steak, and I'm ready.
Lock in. Yeah, no. This is gonna be very similar to last week's episode. If you saw it, similar in the sense that we're just gonna be talking. It's gonna be very opinionated, I guess, but we're also gonna try to talk about what we know about each movie and whatnot. So, if you saw last week's episode, thanks for watching it. I mean, that was very that did get striked, so that was very fun.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot of the
unfortunate,
it was whatever. Comes with the I kind of had a feeling it would, so I was not very surprised. But no, I
but
would
yeah.
also personally like to apologize. Sorry, before we really begin. Sorry I haven't been posting any clips. Been stressful, so moving. So, but I'll get on that. Yeah. So,
Yes,
do you want to start first?
please bear with us. All right, so you know what, I think I'll go ahead and start a little bit more serious. I think I'm gonna go with horror first. um the first movie I picked is a very biased pick here, I'm not gonna lie. um but I think it did a lot to set up that kind of genre. It's gonna be the first Halloween movie. Um, Unfair. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I think you
Uh,
have,
Personally,
but
I don't like watching horrors. Not because I think they're bad. I
I
personally
honestly don't blame you because I agree. Like, a horror is great, but there are just some things that I just don't like about it whatsoever.
I'm just more sense. I don't
Um,
like the fact that like, oh, I don't want to be sitting around. And this may seem like a bitch move or whatever, but I don't like being scared when I'm trying to watch a movie. Like, I like to be able to enjoy the movie for what it is, you know. So, but that's just like I
I
get
respect it.
that's the whole appeal with horror movies, like getting scared and like jump scares. But me personally, I just don't like it. So.
Actually, this might be a shock. That is my least favorite aspect of horror movies are jump scares, and I find them to be so cheap, especially ones where it's just loud noise and like the smallest thing happens, or like the 80s are notorious for this with their horror movies, but zoom in real close and then, oh, it was just a cat jump scare. It's like, all
Oh
right,
yeah.
what are we doing here? Um, but yeah, so I chose Halloween, like I said. I It's not like the biggest personal fear ever, but stalking is horrifying, I feel. And I feel Halloween did it in a somewhat realistic way, at least in terms of, Michael genuinely stalking Laurie. Um,
Yeah.
you know, uh, it's one of those things where the tension that movie builds is incredible, and they really like build up atmosphere for like the entirety of it. And it's just a movie that I've come to love over time because I genuinely think it's a classic. I think it's stood the test of time. There are many things that people still, draw from that movie. Um, I don't blame people if they think that Michael is a little bit of a boring villain, but I personally love like the character he's supposed to be because he is like the embodiment of evil, you know?
Yeah.
And that's something that they did really well because, one of the biggest things about Michael is the mask, right? You see that mask and it's just pure evil. I mean, you can't even see his eyes, so it kind of another layer of like who you're fighting kind of thing. Um, but I love the fixation Michael has towards Laurie, because they're related. Um, but it really drives home a point where it it not only ups the antics for Laurie, but it also does for Michael. And I'm not saying you're gonna like, no, not at all am I saying that Michael's a good guy, but like, some of the mental problem, you could see this, happening, being a little realistic. Somebody fixates on someone for one reason or another, and they just kind of obsess about it, and they try and do things, which are not good. Um, but like I said, I do think that the first Halloween movie, excellently fucking crafts tension, builds it up. There's subtle hints every now and then, and like, if you have a keen eye, you know that, Michael might be in an area before others do, and it's just one of those things where it's like, dude, ugh, I hate the thought of a stalker, and one that's like the embodiment of pure evil.
Yeah.
It's just a wild concept. I love it. Um, but yeah, I got to give it to Halloween for being one of the best. Um,
I definitely.
don't talk about the rest of the discography
Yeah.
because it gets rough. Um, I don't know what they were thinking for like. I'm not gonna lie, Halloween 3 was good. I don't think it was bad. I think it was different, but I think like a lot after that is just wild, and you could tell they were struggling to write the movie. But yeah, moving forward, I think, like I said, Halloween is one of the best ones. Um, got the pure embodiment of evil, mofo that don't give a fuck. Like it's awesome. Um,
See, my
and
whole.
again, I can't get enough of that mask, dude. Like when I see Freddy Krueger in his face, it's like all right, whatever. And then Jason's up there with like the best horror movie mask, and when I see those, it's like actually off-putting.
Yeah.
I think it's masterful.
So
But yeah,
my
what do you think?
my whole thing with Halloween, I've never seen the original or a lot. I think the only one I truly ever saw was like the most recent one they did where like he's dead. Um, and I think
Bro,
that
watch the
one,
last movie.
yeah, like that's my
That's funny.
only real interaction with Halloween. But I think it still conveys something when someone who's never seen Halloween like kind of knows how creepy and knows an established name, like right, even with Jason, even with Freddy Krueger, like those are names I know and I've known to like fear because it's just like it's one of those things where it's like in horror, it's like these are like the big three in quotes, like they're established names that like anybody, even if you, regardless if you've seen the movie or not, um, you're gonna know who they are. So I think Halloween really kind of, I don't want to say started that, I guess really drew a lot of inspirations because I think that stalker thing is, I don't want to say overused. I mean, like I said, I don't watch horror movies, but I think there are like a lot of other horror movies where there is like a stalker of some sorts. I mean,
It's more used as a trope nowadays. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to find a good movie where it's like a genuine stalker and like they watch your movements and all that. And I mean, there have been movies recently that have done really well with that, but I just want to throw that out there real quick.
I think, and yeah, and I think that it is like a, I think one that comes to mind. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like Terrifier, he does seem very stalky-ish and
Yeah, I
very
definitely
like
put that in there.
he's he's just straight up creepy, and it gives that like obviously the clown mask or like the clown identity, and he's like all creepy and he's like staring at people and like doing some really sick shit. I think that that might take some inspiration from what you call it, like Halloween, and you can definitely see the impact. And so I mean, I'll say it
Yeah.
for any like legendary established brand, you can't, not accepting the impact they've had is just foolish. But everything after that, I mean, I know there's like 100 remakes, which I know.
The horror movies love to remake.
Yeah, it's kind of
Same
it's
thing.
kind of dude, grab. It's just kind of crazy to me because I know Rob Zombie I think made his own like version of
Yeah,
Halloween.
he
I
did.
know there's like the newer ones, there's also the older ones, and there's like a whole bunch of shit. Which I mean, I don't blame them for trying. Did they do well? Probably not. But I do, the effort that they put in was still very much there, So,
Yeah.
um, But I mean, I don't, you know, I don't really like horror, and but I mean, I definitely don't
No, I
deny.
don't blame you. Like I said, I actually, I'm real apprehensive towards horror too, because I find that nowadays, especially, they just kind of do things for the sake of doing it,
Yeah,
and like there there are stories to be told about certain aspects, so like violence, like Terrifier movies, I don't like them because it's just all about violence and like that it shouldn't be. And I understand that it's its own subgenre and all that. I just personally don't give a fuck about it. Like I don't want to watch a movie where some people are getting fucking brutally murdered just 'cause, and like there's no explanation other than just he bad. I like it when there's like personal stakes involved and it's deeper than just this guy's angry.
yeah,
Like I'm real critical of horror. I like horror that actually, builds tension properly and, does things correctly in terms of like going about killing people and making sure certain aspects aren't overdone.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's it for the first horror movie. My second one I want to talk about. Oh my God, it dives a little bit into sci-fi, which is what Unfair was going to talk about. But I don't think he's going to pick this one anyway. So it's the first Alien movie, and oh my God, dude, you want to talk? Look at that, another thing common. Stalker type enemy. Um,
Yeah, but real quick.
Man, the first Alien movie is just a masterpiece in my opinion, especially for the time it came out. Like how good it looked and like the
Yeah,
technology and like the vision that they had. It's absolutely wild. And another well-crafted like villain, and it's not to say the only good people in that movie are really just the main character like Ripley and a couple other people, but the company they work for are like horrible people too. You find out in later movies, so it's one of those like this why is this happening, like what's the point behind it. But I think it gives a great like warning almost to exploration, especially with space, because me personally, I definitely don't think we're alone at all. um and space is ginormous, and
yeah.
it'd be hundreds and thousands of years I feel before we even get more hardcore evidence and all that, depending on what you believe. But yeah, I feel like the first Alien movie is a genuine masterpiece. Um, it looks goofy now, but like when I was younger, dude, there's a scene where there's a jump scare that happens in an air duct, an event, and
Oh
you
man.
could tell it's a guy. And like on a rewatch, it's hilarious to watch because it's just bro holding. It looks like he's trying to give the dude a hug. But like the first time you watch it, like it catches you off guard, and it is,
Yeah.
it does get you. Um, Ironically, that movie also includes a cat jump scare, which I don't like, but felt that it suited it. It felt like it was one of the first horror movies that did that trope, but like made it work well. Not just for the sense of a jump scare, but like that there's something lurking, and a cat really fits that vibe of like
Yeah.
going around and analyzing an area and all that. The curiosity. Um,
Curiosity killed the cat.
yeah, man. I think Alien is another one of the best horror movies, especially in terms of sci-fi. Um, I mean, that movie alone, I feel like inspired so much with everything sci-fi modern day.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's genuinely awesome to see like the time frame of all this and when it happened.
yeah. So
But
my whole thing about Alien, um, you even said it like you said like, oh, it's similar to like the Michael Halloween, like Stalker, Michael Myers Stalker, and I like that
yeah,
because it takes like those two movies have these stalkers, but it's like different in a sense. Like I mean, you see Michael Myers, right? He's a dude. He's like a dude stalker. That's one way scary, and I know a lot of people, which is a little unfortunate that people have to deal with stalkers or people that come up to them, and I definitely I have not had any experience of it, but I know it is scary. But like with Alien, it is very different in the sense of a predatory stalker, right? It's like a
Exactly,
tiger
dude.
stalking its prey. Like, okay, like maybe the alien enjoys the game of chasing the rat or cat chasing mouse, and like that in it of itself is a twisted thought. But I mean, when you look at I guess the context of it, like, if there was aliens, like, would they not be predatory, similar to, how humans were way back in the day, or how different animals are today? Like, it's a very valid thought that maybe is true, maybe it's not, who knows? But I think it,
I I was about to say, like, I feel the best thing that those movies offer is when you really think about it, we don't know and we have no idea, no hints at what an alien would actually look like.
yeah,
Um, and when you think about it like that, it kind of adds a whole nother layer to the alien movie of like that was just one facet, that was just one what could have been, and like the fact that we truly don't know what's out there. Fear of the unknown is very real. Like I'm definitely falling victim to that. Like it's scary going through certain things in life and you just don't know, right? And I feel like aliens are one of those things where like I gotta tell myself to not think about it because I go crazy over it. I'm like, dude, I don't know. It could be aliens like the ones from Aliens, or it could be like Monsters versus Aliens, the fucking animation movie for kids. Like it could be anything. We just don't know.
or like
Um,
Little Green Men. I don't know that whole trope.
yeah, like it just adds a layer of thought where it's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, no,
But
it's
yeah, it's goated masterpiece,
it's
timeless. I
interesting,
feel.
and I do like how, because I mean, Time Lives, right? It was what, in the 80s, if I'm correct, when it first came out.
It was actually the late 70s.
Oh, yeah, okay, late 70s. I mean, I feel
I want
like,
to say it was like 77, which is
oh,
crazy to think.
correct us if we're wrong, but I feel like around that time, a lot of people in America just thought of aliens as, like, there was definitely a bunch of different interpretations. I mean, I know the Twilight Zone is famous for like
Oh my god, these Twilight Zone is awesome.
having like different interpretations of aliens, but you also see a lot of people talking about little green men, the freaking the alien emoji that we have now. That was like what we thought, and I think having alien be like, nah, like these aliens could be these stalkers that love to hunt certain prey, different life forms that are weaker than it, and they love that thrill of when they run, and it's I think that's very it put a different thought in maybe people's head at the time, like, oh, maybe they're not these, oh, take your serial leader, or I don't know, but it's like a they'll come up and just start murking us. So I do
Yeah.
like that because I'm I fucking love space. I absolutely adore space, and I
Oh
think a
really?
lot of it comes from the fact that I want to go explore. Like, I'm always open to new things. Yes, you picked that shit up. Yes, it is very scary, and I think new things are very scary, but I love that. I love the thrill of like learning new things. Like currently, oh my god, currently, um, I'm moving to England, right? Completely different country, completely different environment from America, where I was born and raised, and I'm nervous, I'm scared. There's all these different emotions, but I'm really excited because I wanna learn about the European culture. I wanna learn about the English culture. I wanna learn about the Scottish culture, the Ireland culture, the Northern Irish culture. There's the fucking Wales. I wanna learn. Pardon me. I wanna learn all that because that to me is exciting. It's like oh, okay, what's new, and people yell at me, whatever, what can you do? But I know I adore learning new things, and space is something I'm just like captivated by. So
Me personally, before we move on to the next category, I'm terrified of space. You'll never catch me in it. I'm good. I don't need to explore. Listen, listen, listen. There's two ways to think about the Alien movie. One, aliens are naturally predatory, right? And there's evidence with that, with face huggers and how they actually create more aliens.
yeah,
Two, you could also have the argument where humans were fucking around where they shouldn't have been, and they asked for it. Just messing around with alien stuff and like their territory. So it's also a good I feel like it's a good lesson, of like be careful what you wish for and what you go
Yeah.
searching for, because you don't know what you're gonna find.
It's that whole trope of, you talked about it with the cat where curiosity killed the cat. Like, you don't
Yeah,
know what
like
it could be. Like, being curious is a phenomenal thing in my humble opinion, but you really need to know like when to be curious and when to not. So it is definitely like
yeah,
a coin
I think
flip.
curiosity is a great thing, but you got to be careful with it.
Oh shit. So but no, I mean, I just funny enough, I did see I've never seen any of the Aliens movie except for the newest one, Alien Rome whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Romulus, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that one. Uh, from our friends that are like Alien, like huge Alien friends, like fans. I mean, like Brad and Alex. They loved it up until the ending, and they were just a bit confused about it. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's definitely some parts. The ending is very like okay. And but I mean my whole interaction with the movie is I kind of loved it. I loved, it seemed like an alien movie in the sense like it was scary. There was like stakes, people died, and it really felt like no matter what they did, they were always losing. Nothing like, and it kind of puts that thought in the head like, if humans did try and like go and explore space, how far are we gonna make it before it's like we run into something that's like way more intellectual, way more powerful, and way more scary than us? So I definitely enjoyed it as a new viewer watcher. So
I feel like we can move on to the next category, unfair stake. Uh, I'll let you choose if you want to do sci-fi or comedy first.
honestly, I'm gonna keep up the little sci-fi thing. I'm gonna go sci-fi because I absolutely adore this first movie. It is possibly one of my favorite movies to ever come out. Most people don't like it, but I mean that's valid. That's fair. I don't care. But the first movie in sci-fi that I've come out with is Pacific Rim. Now, you probably are thinking, "Oh, why do you like Pacific Rim?" Short answer, and the only answer: giant robots, giant monsters, kaiju's fighting, peak. All right, came out in 2014. Very, it's a movie that appeals to a certain audience, and I think it did that excellent. Right, I am a Godzilla fan. I love giant monsters, and I fucking love giant robots. Favorite game is Titanfall 2. Like, everything about Pacific Rim when it first came out was absolutely amazing. You had phenomenal CGI for 2014. I wonder where that CGI is now. But you had phenomenal, I wouldn't say a phenomenal plot, but a plot good enough to tell the story because, you know, it starts out, for those who don't know, these giant monsters started invading, and they didn't come from the space, right? They're aliens. They came from the Pacific Ocean. There's this whole breach in where humans live, and these aliens are sending their like creatures to attack and get Earth ready for their invasion or whatever. You know, it doesn't really tell you that they're gonna invade, but I mean, like, come on, like, what else are aliens planning on doing if they're sending giant monsters to weaken humans? And at first humans just thought it was a one-time thing, like, oh, this is a tragedy, mourn the dead. But it just kept happening, and so they responded with their own giant creatures, and the Jaeger, which is German for hunter. Um, but the Jaegers in there are these giant robots where these two people link up and they fuck shit up. It is, I think, like, it is phenomenal. You start off with a little bit of a backstory explaining, then you go into like the main character, you get a little backstory on him, and then you have something that's like, boom. I won't spoil it, but super traumatic, super like, what the fuck? And then it's just like, okay, time skip, we're fucking losing. Like, there's this last hope of humanity, and you know, and it really builds it up, and it does it well, and you get to see all these different characters, which I enjoy. You see these different interactions. You see like the human side, like what is the average 9 to 5 Joe? Because not everyone. Apologize, coughing. Not everyone's gonna be like a Jaeger pilot, and so it really, I love it. Gives a different perspective on all these different people, what's happening. The fights are badass and fucking phenomenal in my humble opinion, and I mean, like I said, giant fucking robots. What can go wrong with that? Giant robots fighting giant creatures. So I love it. They're freaking the Gypsy Danger dude is such a sexy looking robot, and I've seen a lot. And so I don't know, Jester, if you've ever seen it, but if you haven't, I recommend.
I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen the other ones. I'm pretty sure there's only one more that came out after. But
No, there's only one movie for Pacific Rim. It's so unfortunate it never got a second movie. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate, man. I only ever saw the one and only ever made.
But what are your thoughts about it?
No, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's badass too. I'm not one that's like too into mechs and all that, but you can't deny how like badass it is. It feels like I'm watching a Hell Yeah simulator. Um, but yeah, it's a goated ass movie, and I love the action scenes and like you said, the CGI for that time is it's wild. How they did that. And to answer your question, I think it's because CGI is oversaturated now, which is why it doesn't look as good nowadays. But besides the point, um, yeah, I can't blame you there, dude. I mean, when you genuinely think about it, you got robots that are as big as skyscrapers, fucking duking it out.
Huge.
Like the
Yeah.
technology for that is wild, and the mechanics that go into it is ridiculous. And I do love the aspect of like you need another person there with you, and you have to be in sync with that person. It's really fucking, it's an awesome idea. I think it is a great movie.
Yeah, and it
Really goated for sci-fi and all that.
I do love the fact that like sometimes movies can get a bit like, oh, this is the reason why people do it, and they don't really speak on it again, but they really make a point to like show you like the like why this needs to work, why these two pilots need to always be synced up and on the same page, because of like you know it affects how the robot, the Jaeger, is gonna function. And they really, I love the fact that they make such a valid point to show that to everyone and show that to the audience. And it's like, hey, not everything always goes peachy, but like these people, apologies, these people are trained for it. So man, I'm just almost
Yeah.
ow, fucking things. But no, I mean, I love that movie. So unfortunate it didn't get second, but
I don't know, man.
that's
I have no idea why that never happened.
that's one I always love to go back and watch every once in a while. It is just I love everything about it. I love the characters. I mean, I'm forgetting his name, dude. It's been a while since I've seen it, but he's definitely fuck. You know who I'm talking about? The main character, goated
Yeah,
guy, definitely has
I
some.
don't remember his name, but
Yeah, it's like
I know what you're
Chance
talking about.
Jaeger, Raleigh. That's his name. So goated character in my humble opinion. So, but no, that. I mean, my thoughts on it, like I said, hell yeah. That pretty much just sums it up in, in a sentence, if I'm being completely honest. So, but to move on to the next one, um, honestly, I was looking at a lot of sci-fi movies, and when I think of sci-fi, there's many different things. It's really just ultimately space. And one movie I have not seen in a while, and I actually kind of want to plan on rewatching it. It's called Arrival. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
What's it called?
Arrival. It's, I think,
I don't think I've seen it, but I know what you're talking about. Isn't that where like some fucking spaceship comes down and they don't know what's happening and they like investigate it?
yeah. So to
Yeah,
give
I
a
know what you're
brief
talking about. I
summary
haven't seen it though.
from what I remember, these aliens come down, and in the comments, if y'all have a better explanation, please let us know. These aliens come down, and they don't do anything. They make contact with us, and they're trying to communicate with us. And so it's like this lead researcher, the scientist, I forget her name or who plays her, or I think there's a couple. It's their whole task to make contact with the aliens and like see what they want. and it's definitely interesting in the sense that the previous two movies we've talked about, sci-fi wise, um, Alien and Pacific Rim, have always been about like violence, have always been about aliens are bad and they're trying to kill us because they think all this. But I think it gives that one especially gives such an interesting perspective on the fact that not all aliens are bad, right? There's a possibility that there's some aliens that want to help. I mean, they want to help. They might see humanity and be like, we pity these creatures and we want to help, right? Whether or not that's morally right is a whole different question. But I definitely appreciate and love the fact that like it gave such a different view on how aliens act or how aliens are, because it's like, not all are all aliens bad, maybe, but there might also be some that are pretty chill and want to make contact and want to make help, like want to help us because their knowledge, their technology, whatever is way more advanced than ours, and it is definitely like I was so intrigued. I think I was really too young to understand, and that's why I want to go back and like revisit it. But from what I can remember, it's so interesting because it's just like kind of like the way the people slowly start to figure out everything and what the aliens are truly doing here is such an amazing, like, a different way of showing like maybe not all aliens are bad. We're not trying to kill them. They're not the little green men. So it is. Like I said, I gotta rewatch it, and I think it definitely it's interesting. So it really makes someone like think like, you know, could aliens be good? Maybe. So. But I know you said you haven't seen it all, Jester. So like, from that little brief,
But I'm not gonna lie, I do love that opening up the gate to are aliens bad? Because at the end of the day, again, we don't know. And me personally, I don't think I want to find out. You know. Um, but it is an interesting discussion. What aliens truly are. Are they malicious? Are they helping? Are they just helping to get close and like dismantle us further when we trust them? Like
and also
there's so much that can go into it.
what's like the
Um,
best representation of aliens, like in through video games and movies? I mean, you've seen or TV shows like a bunch of different interpretations of aliens. I mean, there's Halo, Gears of War.
and they're most, in my opinion, they're mostly all bad. Like
Yeah,
all bad, well, not bad as in they're bad, like poorly made, but
they're
like aliens are bad is kind of
yeah.
what the thing is. Um, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic that I haven't really thought about. But again, I don't want to fuck around and find out. So
I do. So
I'll leave you to it, bro. Well,
I
yeah.
I real quick, I said some out of pocket shit. Just gonna leave
Wild.
that there. The audience is never gonna know what I'm gonna say because I'm gonna bleep it because I think it's funny. So y'all have fun. I'm gonna die. But to move on to the next subject, I think it is your turn, Mr. Jester,
Yep.
and your second.
All right. So my category is action, and I'm
Such
gonna
a
let y'all know on a little secret. I'm a little bit of an elitist when it comes to action movies,
surprise, surprise.
because I will always prefer the movies that involve real life martial artists, people that actually fight on screen, real choreography and not like crappy, like I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but like not like Expendables movies or the last couple Rambo movies. Like it's I love action that actually
Has
you could
action.
feel the impact on what they're doing, and the stakes are high because it's realistic to a degree of like you're fighting someone that is on the same level as you. It's
Yeah.
not like a 90-minute film of just cannon fodder being given to the main character. And I think the first movie that encapsulates that perfectly is, I want to say it's Indonesian, an Indonesian movie called The Raid, which stars my boy, forgive me if I butcher his name, His name is Iku Uwais. Um, and he's a real life martial artist. Um, and he's a badass motherfucker. And that movie is like a peak action. Um, a little synopsis of it. You basically have a man. I'm feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna feel real bad if it's not the right country. I'm saying, but I do want to say it's Indonesia. Um, but basically, SWAT, Special Forces, whatever you want to call them, police officers. They're going to this apartment complex that is run by a drug lord, and at first things seem okay. They're executing the plan well, and then everything falls apart within the first 10 minutes of the movie, and you're like, damn, there's still 2 hours left. This is gonna be wild, and it is wild, and it shows you incredible examples of good leadership versus bad leadership. Um, kind of how people who are living within that lifestyle, even if they're not bad, like they're still scared to the point where they're gonna do what's best for them and their family. And it's an incredible movie filled with ridiculous action, and it has another one of my favorite martial artists in it. He plays as like the captain of the rookie. His name is Joe Taslim, and he's actually the person that plays Sub-Zero in the recent MK movie, the one that came out in like
Yeah,
2021 or 2020. Um,
I like that one.
yeah, like he's in there. And it's just a fucking great movie all around. I don't want to spoil too much, but main character's brother is missing, and you find out where he's been. And there's a really interesting story that you got, and it's kind of one of those stories where it's like, dude, everything's fucked, but you just gotta send it, type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's again, in my opinion, like a real action movie right there. That should be like
The example.
yeah, like the standard is that type of thing. But you're not gonna get that much anymore, unfortunately.
I mean,
But
just real quick, my whole thing on action movies, there's definitely different layers to action, in my opinion. So I definitely like that movie. Seems like a hell of a lot more of like just high impact. So
it is. It's an intense movie, dude.
yeah, and I definitely.
It's Jakarta. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it's Jakarta. It just hit me
Oh, okay. But like,
where they're at.
I mean, it seems interesting. I definitely, I'll definitely try to take a watch on it. If I remember.
You need to.
I'm
It's actually awesome.
I'm really bad at trying to remember.
I'll bug you for like the next month to watch
Yeah.
it.
I mean, we can watch together. Not in a weird
That's
way.
true.
I mean, we are like visiting each other, so that's why I brought that up.
Yeah, we're gonna hopefully visit each other soon.
Do a little homie visit. It's been about 2 years since we've seen each other, so put that in respect. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's
But
been a minute.
I mean, definitely, I definitely like you are a high elitist. I'm telling that as a friend, and
Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
definitely, you have such a higher standards for action movies. Like me, I don't know. I don't really pay attention that much. I'm really bad with movies, So, but I mean, I do love high action movies because there are some that like, if they really hook me in, like if they're just kind of bleh, I'm not really gonna pay attention or care, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, it was whatever. But like, high impact movies like that, if they draw me in and really make me go like, oh, like this shit is good. Like, I'll definitely give it a watch for sure. So
Yeah. Um, this next movie I have is a fucking hidden gem, dude. It's a great action movie, but it also has really good comedy. Um, has another one of my favorite martial artists, and the movie is called Debt Collectors. I want to say it's still on Netflix. If not, unfortunate. Because I don't know where you'd go to find it other than like Voodoo. But it's a movie about the main character. I forgot his name, but the martial artist, like his real name. His name is Scott Adkins, and he is like a rookie debt collector who kind of got swooped up in the wrong crowd, and the more experienced guy that's with him, I forgot his name, but he's a really great actor. He's a little bit older of a guy, and they go around collecting debt, and it's genuinely a fucking hidden gem. Because it's one of those movies that looks like it's gonna be so bad, has a low budget, and I don't get it twisted, dude. It starts off a little slow, but I trillion% guarantee you, you will like that movie at the end of it, at the end of that watch. And for the most part, it's lighthearted, has a pretty serious ending. But I do want to say they made another movie after that, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a third one on the way.
Jeez.
Um, but yeah, again, just great movie. Really got to watch it. Especially if you're more into like, more lighthearted action, which I don't blame you if you are. Um,
Lighthearted action.
but yeah, no, like it. I mean, it's still violent. Don't get me wrong. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to find a good word for it. Like it's a good balance between comedy and action, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. That's fair.
Like with the raid, that's just all action. It's all intense. It's like, what am I watching? Why am I watching this?
It's
But
meant
it's
to
still a
be
great
like
movie.
that. So.
Yeah, but this movie is a little bit more lighthearted, funny, joking around, and I genuinely, I genuinely think anybody that watches it, for the most part, would genuinely love that movie when they're done with it. Um, but yeah, that was my second movie. Another movie you should watch, Unfair, because it's awesome.
I mean, honestly, I'm really just bad with watching movies. So I mean, we both are. So it's definitely, I'll
I don't blame
definitely
you, neither
try.
am I.
So, but nah, that's definitely. I mean, that whole idea of like debt collecting seems very. It almost seems overused in a sense of like action movies, like oh, I fucked around with the
What
wrong,
does?
like the whole trope of I fucked around with the wrong gang and now they're after me. Like, not to be like my whole thing about it is I feel like there's definitely a lot of movies similar to that. Um,
I could be misremembering that a little bit, but I do want to say that Scott Adkins was like drawn into it. Like I don't know. I have to give it a rewatch. It's been years since I've seen it,
yeah.
but still a great fucking movie nonetheless.
I mean, but
But that's kind of the whole gist of it is like a rookie debt collector with an experienced one,
yeah.
and the relationship and on-screen chemistry is wild because I mean you just never expect it.
Is it like a like I mean like oh, we're not really giving much of it, so I'm just like curious. Ow. So I'm dead.
What you say?
Like
So confused.
when you talk about their relationship, right? Like how is it? Cause is it one of those things where it's like the whole
It's
trope
a
of master and student? Um,
Not really. It's more of the trope of like I don't give a fuck about you. Like let's just do our job, you know?
so keep
And
it
then they like
professional. I'm not here
start
to
getting
fucking
like
make friends. Okay.
exactly. But then it evolves into more like friendship type thing and that's how it ends as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those situations. It's not like you've been assigned to this person, obey them and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's not one of those at all.
Okay. I mean, I definitely because I mean, like I said, that whole thing of like, especially in action movies, of like, oh, he's your experienced partner, they know everything, and it's like, oh, I don't want to know
If it's
you.
done well, it's actually good,
Yeah, I
and
just that's like the
it's one of those movies that does it well, dude.
that's like the one thing in I guess like any action movie really that doesn't piss me off, but kind of I like see it a lot, and I'm just like, it's alrighty. Let's see where this friendship or whatever goes, So it's I'm like
Yeah.
I'm really picky about it, but I'm not like gonna be like, okay, I need to stop watching a movie because of it, So yeah, that's just my only thoughts about it and questions, I guess. So seems interesting. I
But
mean,
yeah, like I said, it's a sleeper pick, dude. Like I was on a Scott Adkins roll because I love him in all the movies he's in.
Scott
Um,
Atkins, bro.
and
Bro's
that
on
was
his
one that I came
payroll.
across, and I enjoyed it from the very beginning, but I also had other people watch it, and the general consensus was like that was boring as fuck for like the first 20 minutes, but dude, it genuinely just it's like they found their groove almost, and it just kept getting better and better.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, that's it for mine. Mine too.
So that was all of Jester. Thank you for talking and coming to the show. That's your last
Yep. Head out. Y'all have great. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Um, but I mean, action, very good series. So, but for my last one, um, it's gonna be comedy. So, comedy, I fucking love because I love to laugh and I laugh at a lot of stupid shit. So I don't care. Um, I definitely give comedy movies the benefit of the doubt anytime I watch them because I know there's movie elitists that like to really be nitpicky, and I really don't enjoy them. I don't care. Movie elitists, in my opinion, seem very cocky and acting like they know shit, but
They are, dude. They're the fucking worst.
my whole thing about movies and just in general, to each their own, right? If you like it, right, you can like it. Sure, many people might not like it, but unless it's just an overly like terribly bad movie, Borderlands, I really don't see a genuine reason to hate. I mean, like some people don't like a bunch of fucking like Pacific Rim, that's fine. It is not made for everyone. It's made for people who like big robots and monsters. So, but with comedy, it's definitely so many people are nitpicky like, "Oh, I didn't like his joke he made." And I think one movie I haven't seen in years, but I think is an all-time classic. And there's so many classic comedies. I don't really know any, but one that I love because it's just stupid is Click. Right? I know that was a whole long intro just to do some like people are probably like, oh, of course it's fucking Click. Cry about it. I think that movie is fucking funny for every right reason because it's just about a guy, right? Adam Sandler, classic. His whole thing about trying to make sure his life is right. What man doesn't want to have a, or what, not even what man, what person doesn't want to have a nice life, right? Provide for their family, do all these different things, and
Suffer.
he gets a fucking uh thing that can pause time. I think that's fucking hilarious. I think all the different interactions, like
Oh, that movie.
you have to look it up.
Man, that's an old one.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it too, but like I think the funniest scene I still remember to this day is when like the dad, Adam Sandler, he comes home and him and his neighbor's kid, and the neighbor's kid's kind of a prick. They're playing catch and the neighbor's kid's like, "Oh, I'm better than you." And he pauses everything, right? So the whole point of the movie is like he has this this fucking um remote that can pause time and do a whole bunch of shit, and he pauses it, puts the neighbor's kid's glove down just a little bit so he would miss, walks away and then plays it, and it hits the kid's face just gets smacked by the baseball. I think that's funny as shit. Not the sense of kids getting hurt, but like bro's like,
No, man, that's so funny, dude. I'm joking.
That's it's
For
just
legal reasons.
it's funny just because it's stupid, right? It's like, oh, he made a fucking kid
Yeah.
hit himself with a fucking baseball, like, because he was bullying his fucking son and being a prick. Like, I think that's funny. And I don't really remember much about the movie. I do remember laughing a lot. I might be blinded by the fact of that one scene is something I remember and then I just stuck with. I mean, I know there's a scene where he's like going back in time, and it's like his first wife's like some bigger woman, and they had a really interesting time, if I remember correctly. I don't really remember. Like I said, I thought that was a little funny, but
Yeah, dude, that's an old movie. I have like flashes of that movie in my head because it's just
yeah, and I think it's
watched when I was so young, dude.
one of those things where a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's an Adam Sandler movie," blah blah blah. And you know what? I like it. If you don't like it, and you think that Waterboy is Adam Sandler's greatest movie, that's fair. But that one's still funny. So, but like I said, I just love it. I love most of Adam Sandler's movies. I think that one was just the stupid comedy that it was, and I like it. I like shit that's just stupid because it's easy to understand for anyone. Like, some people, I'm not gonna lie, probably have this elitist way of comedy, and I think that's one way to look at it, you know, if that's you. But I think being able just to laugh at dumb shit is just funny. And movies that do dumb shit that can just laugh at it, it's, you know, what's so wrong with that? Like, so, but that was our first movie. I know Jesse, you have been chirping that, you know, you've barely seen it. It's been a while. Like, what was your thoughts about it when you did, or even now? Like,
So I, fun fact about me, I struggle watching movies and all that. Not because I'm an elitist, but more so just like, it's hard for me to find something that
catches your attention.
holds my attention. You know, so if it's something like
TikTok
comedy,
brain rot.
if it's the kind of comedy that's like, and I'm not saying Adam Sandler's a bad actor, but like, you know, if it's some like kind of grown-ups like movie, I just don't like that comedy. You know, but if it's more like just trying to think here. No, there's a movie with Sandra Bullock and the one girl from I think Pitch Perfect, where they're like cops or whatever, like that shit's funny.
Oh, the identity theft one.
Yeah, that one. I don't remember the name of it, but like
I think I know what you're talking about.
Heat. I think it's Heat. Um, but yeah, like I enjoy that type of comedy, but you know, it gets to a point with comedy where it's like, what are we doing here? Um, but with that being said, from what I remember, I thought that movie at least had an interesting plot for a comedy movie, and I found it enjoyable. Um, I kind of like the idea of being able to, you know, like stop time, rewind, you know, do something else.
Try to
Um,
fix, you know, your mistakes too.
yeah, it's a cool concept, and you know, for what that movie was, I think it was actually really good. Um, but yeah, only if we all had a remote like that.
Oh,
Wild.
I think people would do some crazy stuff with it. So, but no,
Yeah, that's my thoughts on that movie.
very valid, very valid. So for the last one, give me 1 second. I gotta look at it. I guess, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you guys can probably already tell what kind of comedy I like. It's the stupid comedy because this next one is very, it's more of a series. Um,
The Twilight Zone. Nah,
it's the scary movies, and I think all of them are funny to their own nature.
I've only seen a couple of them, but they definitely fall victim to what I'm talking about. Like, all right, what are we doing, bro? Like,
and I think that's the whole point. Like that's the whole trope of the movie, being stupid, where people are like, what the fuck is this, right? You know, it's one of those things where it's like, I have a guy, I have a coworker. He has
guys.
certain opinions on certain things, and his way of expressing that is to deliberately just like laugh at it, like what the fuck is this shit, like it is so shitty, like when it comes to video games and all this. And I think that's kind of like the way, you know, I think that's like one of the ways you can really watch any of those movies, especially the scary movies. It's like it can be so dog shit that you just like you're just laughing like what the fuck is this, like what am I watching, and it's just you're just laughing because you don't know what else to do. So I think that's a way to enjoy the scary movies if you don't enjoy them. But I mean, I think I was rewatching a lot of them when I was working, and like it was just some of the funniest shit. I think one of the
I think I honestly might have to give a couple of them a rewatch because that movie series is old too, dude.
yeah,
I
and
was real young when I watched like the first two.
you know something that scary movie is really famous for was believe it's Scary Movie 3. There's a scene where one of the chicks, right, she's entering a haunted house, and she meets this little dead Japanese boy and attempts to speak Japanese, but the entirety of what she's speaking is just a bunch of Japanese brands, and like what they're speaking is just like she goes hello, and he just kind of stares at her, and then she goes hello, and then he starts talking back to her.
Wild.
It is a very like that would shit would not fly man like 2025 like you know it was definitely a wild take I'll say and I think that's just one of those reasons like it became so famous because like you had these outlandish like comedy parts where they were saying some wild shit. I mean I know I think it's like Scary Movie 1 and 2 where one of the guys is I forget his name. He's the black character. The black guy. I forget his name. I apologize. But he has like this chick, and like he's dating her. It's whatever. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like over time you really see like he's gay, and like he does it in like little parts where it's like oh him and his girl are like messing around, and he tells her it's like oh get this football uniform on. Oh get this helmet on. And she's kind of like, okay, you're into some freaky shit, but then it's just like, well, what's going on? And he says Brandon instead of her actual name, I forget. So.
Oh, that is wild.
Yeah, and I think another part, I think he goes to like a bathroom, and there's a hole in the stall.
Oh my God, I think I know that scene.
Yeah, and if you know, you know. The adults probably know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, something enters his ear, which is so weird. But no, I think like y'all, it's just a stupid comedy that gets me. I mean, comedy is very subjective. Like I think the only thing that compares to subjective comedy or people critiquing comedy is action. Because I mean so many people are it's up for interpretation by everyone and so many people have all these opinions and like comedy's supposed to be like this, comedy's supposed to be like that, and it's just like to me if it can make you laugh, like that's all that really matters at the end of the day. So
Preach, brother. No, I agree though. At the end of the day, whatever you find enjoyment in, good. Just because somebody else doesn't like it doesn't mean it's bad, you know?
yeah.
Like I said, I don't really like a lot of comedy movies. To be fair, I don't watch too many movies anyways. But,
You really don't do much, but okay, I'm sorry. Let me
I got a game. I got a game, bro. I got a game.
gotta eat for the game. No, but I don't know.
Eat, sleep, Fortnite, repeat.
Okay, buddy. I think a lot of movies have definitely been more, como se dice, critiqued, and you like movies now are. It's such an unfortunate thing because now movies are just like make or breaks, right? There's no in between, and I think that has to do a lot with the fact that I think similar to video games, a lot of people have run out of the passion for make actual good movies, and now it's just about big budget, big good thing, money, So.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, my controller died for a second.
Oh, you're good. You're back.
But I'm back now.
So. It's very unfortunate. I love watching some good movies. I remember always going to a movie with my parents, and I mean that's not to say that people weren't critiquing movies back in the day. There were. I mean.
Things were definitely more lighthearted back then, you know?
Yeah. I think it's a change with time, and I mean you see it through media from like all the way back when it first created. I mean like some of the jokes that people said in like the 70s or the 80s or the like 50s, like they probably wouldn't be like as funny, or people would be like, okay buddy, like whatever, like rolls eyes and then walks away. So it's definitely interesting, and I think that's just to tell the story that like America personally as a society we've definitely changed, for better for worse.
Society.
It's up for interpretation, but
We live in a society.
you definitely see the change in what we watch, what we consume. I mean, some people say the oldies were better, some people say this new shit is good, some people say that they don't like Adam Sandler, so it's all up for whatever.
And then you got people like me who just live off YouTube.
Yeah, brain rot motherfucker. So
Okay, it's not brain rot, okay? Joe Bartolozzi is not brain
Joe
rot. Okay?
Bartolozzi It cannot be the only YouTuber you genuinely watch. There's no way.
No, but I mean, I watch Queso, Joe, Corey Kenshin. Shout out Corey Kenshin. Been watching him since he had 200K subscribers back in 2016. Besides the point, Miss Bro. Too bad he died. He's not dead. I'm just making a joke because he never posted. Besides the point, anyways.
Such fucking glazing and dick riding.
Negative. Negative.
So, but yeah, you know. At the end of the day, if you like movies, you like it. If you don't, it's unfortunate you had to waste your time. I will say that. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you for joining us on our talk about movies. How glorious some of them can be. Let us know what you think. If we're idiots, if we're elitists, both of us.
I'm not elitist.
I know I definitely play a little bit into an elitist, but that's just because I'm picky.
I'm picky too, but I'm also open-minded.
Yeah, like I don't know. I have strong opinions. Okay, no.
That's not a bad thing. But yeah.
But yeah, nevertheless, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. We appreciate your support. Like and comment and subscribe. And again, let us know at least one or two of your favorite movies, because we're curious too.
Yeah.
I think we all had bangers today for our categories and such.
Damn,
so
you died?
Yeah, I fucking got obliterated. Curious to see what y'all think.
Yeah, I mean, and thank y'all for, the love. I know we're only at like 23 subscribers.
Two subscribers, but we love them.
23. It's not a lot, but that still means a lot.
Hey, Uncharted, motherfucker. Greatness from small beginnings.
Exactly. So.
Type shit.
I definitely appreciate, everyone that has, made the conscious decision to subscribe. So, fuck. I'm sorry.
Likewise.
Lisp.
He's crying.
I'm not crying. I have a lisp. I think it's still just, I appreciate people that do, subscribe, and it means a lot. If y'all want a little teaser for next week's episode, it's gonna be pretty big. In my humble opinion, it's gonna be very different. I am stuck. I might die. It might happen, might not happen. We don't know. I have to make some calls into the office. See what we can pull. See what favors I have.
Yeah, we gotta see what can happen.
But a little tease is gonna be a lot different, and I'm very excited for it because I've told Justin.
I mean, I guess you could say it's similar to a video we've done playing Helldivers with. But I don't know.
You never know. Life is
but a dream. Shout out Avenged Sevenfold.
Is that a song?
That is an album, my boy. Anyways.
Thank y'all for watching.
So-called free thinkers when Avenged Sevenfold comes up.
My final thoughts is always, y'all, be passionate. Every day's a new day. Keep up that grind. Get that money up. Not the funny up. Keep that money up too,
Nah, man. Get your funny up, not the money up, bro. Fuck the money, bro.
I have definitely enjoyed doing
Remember,
this.
debt is fake. Negative numbers aren't real.
I've definitely loved doing this every week. I mean, with Jester, we have a lot of history, and being able to put something that, it's nice. I don't want me to get all sappy, but I'm enjoying this. So, thank y'all for joining us on this ride. It's just started. We are definitely gonna improve more and more. So, especially after this move, these next couple of videos are gonna be chaotic. So bear with us, but we will make sure to get the quality content you guys always want and ask for. So, yeah.
We will give our best all the time.
Yeah. That's all for me, Jester. I don't know. I know you said your final thoughts, but do you have any final thoughts? Final Fantasy thoughts?
My final thought
Alright.
is I'm very tired, and I'm gonna go get ready to sleep.
We're already fading away, so it doesn't even matter. You fucking would sleep at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
I'm fading to black, I guess.
Life seems to fade away.